The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host. As always, we'd like to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
We're off 4 points on the S&P cash volume is exceedingly light. If you want to go back even to last Monday, a week ago last Monday, before the election, just 2.14 billion shares as we go and knock on that door. 2189.89 for the high today on the S&P cash. So we've gone a little higher, very light volume. And we are kind of at a crossroads in the market. That crossroads will be, do we pull back because of the light volume into the end of the year? Or do we just kind of play around here and a handful of stocks, probably superly heavily shorted, drift up into the end of the year? But we've had the biggest inflows into ETFs, which always make me exceedingly worried when people decide to throw money at the top of a market. Doesn't always mean that it's the end of the market, but generally, at best, you get a sideways market. At worst, you get a top. So I can't see a great deal of money being made in the indexes between now and the end of the year unless everything blows up in our faces. That isn't, each day goes by, that is a smaller and smaller possibility. There's are the warning signs out here? Yes. What are the possibilities that this market does exactly what I said it was going to do a year ago and go into the end of the year, and you wanted to be exceedingly short, and of course the entire markets took a nosedive right there, coming back on whatever it was, January 2nd or 3rd. But what we now have is a market that probably in the next week or so, we're going to get a good indication. One, we pull back into the end of the year. Everybody's in. That's it. The other one's going to be, we go sideways. Do we get to 2,100? Maybe. Big whip. That's nothing. You can't roll me out of bed for less than a 40-point move in the S&P cash. I just, homie don't work for chump change. So what do? You kind of look at this market and go, you're going to have to pick your battles. If you're long, you're going to have to pick stocks that have high short interest. You're also going to have and pick stocks where the dollar index moving doesn't really affect it that much. They don't have a lot of sales outside the United States because guess what? We kind of just kicked in that door like they do on Cops. Whereas the Cops is on the A&E. I think it's like A&E always has those shows where they're always knocking in the door with a battering ram. Well, that door got knocked right off the hinges. We're talking about the dollar index up 35 cents, 101.24. Got to 101.48, but breaking through this high suggests that the next move is somewhere around 104.5 to 105. So, do we have to digest this for a little while? Do we kind of back and fill? The question is, is a dollar coming back a dollar going to really make any difference to the market? I don't think so. As long as we stay above 100, every day above it tells you that 450 to 105 on that dollar index is a much higher probability. Anyway, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. You can put messages in the den, and I will look. In the meantime, we got to get the party started.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
Hey, history doesn't exactly repeat, but it does rhyme. On this day in 1928, Mickey Mouse makes his film debut in the first talking cartoon, Steamboat Willie, originally named Mortimer. The mouse was a doodle created out of desperation by Walt Disney on a transcontinental train ride a few months earlier after rival filmmaker Charlie Mintz stole the rights to Disney's hit character Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. If you know your histoire in Disney lore, he went and rented his own theater in New York and made a boatload off this short. Everybody wanted to see more and more of the diminutive mouse. Now, on a side note, this mouse also caused many legal issues to be adjudicated and or money to be thrown around at congressmen and senators and others to extend copyrights. By every law in 1928, the mouse should have been public domain in 1985. But a lot of people just kind of thinking maybe this mouse is a little bit more than the average Joe out there, decides to extend copyright rights for a very, very much longer time. And it mostly has to do with these kind of things, logos, that kind of stuff. A lot of the other stuff didn't really change much. What did change also, of course, in the 80s, that is the giant bugaboo, is the way these copyrights work for music. Anybody that had a big hit before about 1974 jumps up and down, left and right. When you look at the amount of money that is made now from streaming rights by folks like Pink Floyd, compared to maybe one of the other biggest albums of all time in the 80s, Michael Jackson's Thriller, they make about 1,000 times more money than Michael Jackson does on rights for replay. And that's a lot because of those rejiggered long-term rights and the way that they ended up in streaming also. So Disney pressing its needs and changing laws in I think it was in the mid-'80s, maybe it was 78. I think that's maybe 78, 79, 80 in there, I think, is the first one. Then there was another change in 1985, the copyright law. But on this day in 1928, a giant ship goes to sea. If you don't ever put a ship out to sea, how can your ship ever come in? Well, it did, and Oswald the Lucky Rabbit is on the ash heap of history. Other things going on out here, if you're thinking about Italian food and you're thinking about going to Italy for it, just let you know that the last poll taken before the referendum in Italy, which is December 4th, shows 37% yes, 42% no, and 21% undecided. So it can go literally anywhere. But and when we talk about the signpost ahead, I'm going to have to get that clip. What's the name of that thing? The signpost ahead says, the Twilight Zone. That's what it is. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Anyway, good question in the den, and that is, what is this referendum, and what is and why are people paying attention to it in the markets? It is a way of changing the Constitution so that they can actually get something done. And the reason they want to get something done is it's basically virtually impossible for them to exit the EU the way everything is set up. And by changing this, they would make it very easy for the government to have kind of simple votes and have a exit the EU vote. Right now, they think they have very little power in the EU because guess what? Nobody has power in Italy. This way, it would give at least someone a universal amount of power, kind of much more like a president than just a prime minister with 14 different factions underneath them, all fighting for some level of support. This would give a single individual the kind of power that a president has in this country, but mostly it would get rid of a ton of stuff, not just for the EU, but the rest of it. To get things going, they are mired in red tape and huge amounts of, as we like to say over here, draining the swamp of everybody getting their beak wet. And that actually came from Sicily, didn't it? Or at least a Sicilian. And a good Italian movie, though. But it's all about getting things on the move so they can get things done right now. The EU kind of is blowing them off for anything. As we said earlier in the summer, before the Brexit, just how horribly the most people of England were getting screwed over by, I think they had 42 applications for an appeal with the EU. The British did. Not a one. They didn't even get to the point where anybody would even look at them. They just said no and thumbed their nose at them. And that's basically what's happening with Italy, is they know that the Italians with its form of government will never get that many cats to be herded into one big thing. And doing this would allow literally someone to gain yet enough power to actually stick their thumb in the little jackasses in Brussels' eye and at least get a decent deal out of them, but even more likely threaten to leave the EU. My guess is that without this passing, they may be the last country in the EU because no one will ever get together enough votes to do anything. So a lot going on in here, but this is the first step for the Italians, one, to get more power to a single party or an individual so that they can actually go toe-to-toe with all the little ex-Hitler youth that are hanging around Brussels telling everybody just what temperature their refrigerators can be. That's a real thing. When they can turn their heaters on and when they can't, when they can run their air conditionings, what kind of toothpaste. You think I'm kidding. There really is a rule for almost every single thing that you do in Europe. And it's a lot of Hitler youth out there. They just can't wake up without finding out, kind of like we've got a bunch of semi-brain dead individuals over here that can't wait to change and say how big of a soda you can have, how much sugar you can have it. I guess, I don't know. I just never was that much of a narcissist to believe that I was supposed to tell somebody exactly how to live their lives, but that's exactly how it goes over there in Europe. And of course, if you're making huge bucks because you're part of the gravy train, there's a lot of people that want to follow you. The problem is that that gets narrower and narrower. The people on the losing end of the stick become much bigger and bigger. As one of the prime ministers of England once said, socialism is great, but eventually you run out of everybody else's money. And that's at the point that they are at. What else is going on out here? Monday before the bell, we are starting to wrap up all the earnings for the year. Canadian Solar and Tyson Foods before the bell. After the bell, we've got Beacon Roofing and Supply, Jack in the Box, and Palo Alto Networks. When we go into Tuesday, we've got the Burlington stores, Dollar Tree, DSW Shoes. I think that's it is. Yeah. Yes. Designer Shoe Warehouse. I think that's the name of it. Hormel Foods. Oh, God. I almost forgot. Do I have it? Did I take it out? Oh, no, I do. I have it here. Hormel Foods.
You mean spam?
Yes, I mean spam.
Spam.
I mean spam. Anyway, Hormel Foods before the bell on Tuesday. Valspar, of course, also after the bell. This kind of wraps up earnings for a while. There's some smaller companies in December, but no big deal. GameStop after the bell on Tuesday. Hewlett-Packard, HP. And then you know what happens at 4 o'clock on Tuesday? I'm out of here. Just a fair warning. I am gone on Wednesday. Do not expect the regular guy here, if there's anybody, on Wednesday. I will be out of here. On delay. A Vista. It's not a Vista, is it? I forgot all my different foreign languages ways to say I'm on vacation till the next week. Anyway, as I said, you can email me at path@tfnn.com. You can do something else. I'm just getting a few emails here. Do I have enough time? We got about 2 minutes. I probably can get started on it. Question about Facebook already and what they are doing and what they're saying. I wanted to get a chart up. Let's take a quick look at the chart, and then I will tell you what's going on because I talked about it far before anybody else was talking about fake book. I was talking about the top of social media, the reasons why. And let's take a little quicker look at here. Now, you got a bounce in Facebook today. It is options expiration. I don't put in a great deal about what's going on today. This thing's going to move it and work its way back down to this low of 108.23, which is the June 27th low. We talked about the reasons why. We'll take more into account after the commercial here at the bottom of the hour. But they've got a few things. As I love to watch the C-SPAN on Sunday nights when they have the British Parliament. And the one rule in there is if you call somebody a liar, they toss you out. So they have 100 ways of calling each other liars without saying the word liar. The one I like the best is an economy with the truth. Unfortunately, Facebook has had an economy with the truth in the way that they put their ads out there. It's, if you go to a counter and someone shorts you one time, maybe $1, you think, maybe she just made a mistake there on my ham and eggs. You go there twice, and each time you get there 9 times, and every time she shorts you $1 or $1.50 on change. Pretty, kind of what's going on. Unfortunately, 3 strikes and you're out. Facebook did have to fess up to the fact that, well, yeah, they were kind of fibbing the way that impressions were done, what they call people looking at something on Facebook, impressions. I will give you my impression of Facebook when we come back.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we have an expiration week where not much is happening as we go into the close, at least not much out. We're off 6 points in the S&P cash. Not a lot of volume, 2.6. But we are down. But we also tested new highs. So this is going to be kind of one where we're going to see Monday or Tuesday, see if everybody gets all nervous about what Black Friday sales are going to be. But we shall see. Now back to Facebook, already in progress. Facebook has kind of a problem. Everybody's calling it fake news. I don't know how it's any more fake than MSNBC or CNN or any of the rest of them that had basic people working in campaigns acting like journalists. Oh, John Harwood, that skunk too. So you got a ton of people already that if you want to talk about fake news, you can look at some of the big NBC. Yeah, a bunch of them. Thank WikiLeaks. But we now know that these guys are a bunch of lying skunks. So what do we do about fake news? Well, the news this week in Facebook is that, of course, they got rid of all these quote fake news sites. When you get down to it, these fake news sites actually have to do with a lot of sites that they plain don't like. Now, where'd they get this list? Well, they went to some whack job at a college. Yes, a good friend of Uncle Joe Stalin, one of these incredibly wacky, nut-filled college agenda kind, and that's where they found it. About 3 or 4 of the websites I go to, which are not wacky at all, but they certainly aren't of the far left type. They just didn't like them, got put on the list. There's about 10 or 15 sites of people that are truly neo-Nazis and everything else. There are a bunch of sites that, quote, are fake news sites that are sites that are kind of like The Onion, but they leave it kind of to your imagination whether these things are real or not. This is the cover that they are using for nothing more than censorship. So the problem is, who decides what is real and what is truthful and what is not? I listen to a lot of podcasts that have to do with Silicon Valley each week. And why most of them don't end up being anything other than a wasted hour of my time. They occasionally fall on something that is interesting. And I'm going to play this little clip from Nile. I can't say his name right now. Nile, who runs a thing called The Verge. And he has a podcast every week with Walt, the tech guy that's been around for 150 years. I don't know how old he is, but he's been around forever. Anyway, they're discussing this yesterday.
Walt, the thing that you always talk to me about is how Silicon Valley regards itself. And yeah, they love to say we're going to fail fast and fix it. And here, they just seem unwilling to admit that they failed. Maybe I don't mean that they failed and that the wrong person got elected, or they failed and that the political leanings of their founders and employees were not validated by the election. I mean, there are lies. They distribute news. There are lies distributed on their platform that look like legitimate news, and they're saying we don't want to stop it, and it's too hard, and it's not a problem. Instead of the thing that Silicon Valley is supposed to say, which is, "Oh my God, we failed. Let's fix it." And that disconnect to me is very troubling.
And I think that I've been kind of trying to figure a way to actually get this over. And that's probably it, the disconnect of how do you decide what is real and what is not. We've seen some stocks absolutely get smashed like Yelp because half the reviews were the competitor down the street telling how a bug was found in your food, and it wasn't. Of course, they just put on a phony review to maybe get them to come down to your place or tell you why maybe there was a lot of people partying at that hotel. But if you came down to the other hotel, maybe not a bunch of drunks and biker gangs down there. Well, there were probably 150 lawsuits. And finally, we found out that if you post one of these things, you are not circumspect. They can find you. And that really kind of clubbed Yelp because guess what? Suddenly what you said, you could be sued over. So Facebook has an issue. It knows that some of the people that it deals with are not of the extreme far Joe Stalin left. And they are going to know fairly quickly from other sites like Drudge that there is maybe some news that is not being reported. Now, Facebook in its initial wisdom waited from Friday afternoon when the stock market blew up when the FBI director came back, the week and a half before the election, and said, well, we've got all these new emails. Well, if you were depending on your Facebook feed, you came in and found out about it on Sunday night. Them, Google, the rest of these folks are really going to have to decide whether or not their platforms are independent. At the same time, you have to figure out whether or not you can allow people like neo-Nazis on there. The big problem I've wondered about is both Facebook and, of course, Twitter have had a policy where if you want to advocate the beheading of just about everybody in the world, no problem. We're not going to bother with you. But guess what? Just say one little thing about somebody here in the United States, that's it. Now, of course, on Wednesday after the election, there were about 1,500 death threats to the next president. Did all those people lose their account? No. So there is a lot of latitude in what these guys are doing. I don't know if there's an easy answer for them, so I'm not going to tell you that I have the wisdom of Solomon. I'm going to say to you, though, they have the exact same problem as Yelp did, which is how do you know what is real, what is not? How do you become the arbiter of what's truth and what isn't truth? Now, Yelp has kind of come off the lows a little bit. Most of this has to do with them being for sale. But I think the promise of Yelp being as it was in the IPO, talked about being about $500 now. We're in about the $38 price range. Let's go back and look and see at what price this thing actually IPO'd at. This thing had quite the run when this thing came out. Got it to 101.75. Started off not too much. What do we have out here? Looks like the first day was $20. So you've had kind of a nice move out here, but a lot of people bought this thing thinking that if they held it, it was going to be in at least the underwriters were talking about this being something like a Facebook or a Google. If you just hold this thing 5 or 10 years, it's going to be worth $500 or $1,000. The reality is they always had this issue with their business plan, and that is something that they never addressed. And the same problem I have with Facebook, which is they never addressed how they made money before they IPO'd. I'd much rather buy a company that they've figured out how they make money before they go to the IPO instead of trying to figure it out later. It always reminds me of those, what was it, Spanky and the Bunch? What was it, the kids? They'd always figure out, let's do a play. We'll raise all kinds of money. We'll do a play. Kind of just out of thin air. Anyway, we'll be back in a minute.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And we've got two opposing ideas, Little Rascal and Our Gang. And I think, was it advertised or shown on their both names? Because I think both of them seem almost right. Anyway. Always loved that. And, of course, watching a young man who would later be don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Always loved that. Beretta. Of course, he had kind of a problem after that. But he was in Our Gang. I'm pretty sure it was Our Gang. I don't know. Little Rascals, Our Gang. Wasn't it? Maybe they were different. Can't remember. What do we have happening after that? Solar City, of course, the buyout of Solar City by Tesla did get approved. Amazingly, this is supposed to be a $25 buyout and not getting a lot of good feel no matter what they say out of it. This thing did pop up a bit today, but not much on there. Tesla, a little bit short. Again, this is options expiration, so I'm not going to put too much into today, but by Tuesday, we should have a very clear signal out here that Solar City's headed for $25 if they're actually going to buy them. This may just be a great delaying tactic for a while to keep maybe shorts out of Solar City since it is a colossal failure and a great example of nepotism at its finest. Anyway, Tesla, a nice little pop out here on it. But again, more about options expiration than I think of any trend. So what do we say about that? Not much. On bigger moves out here, we do have some earnings. Ross Stores. I got a question. Am I fond of Wichita, Kansas? Why would you say that? You may look up a small little town just outside of Wichita that I went to during summers. Now I'm trying to remember the name of it. Went there every summer. My grandmother's sister lived there. We'd go visit her for the summer when I was like 12 and 13. I'll remember it. I want to say Newmont, but it's not New. I'll have to look up the map during the thing. Other question out here, do you trust the surveillance of Microsoft Windows 10? I don't know what you mean, trust. Is there too much? Is there not enough? Kind of hard to say. I do have machines. All of my machines here, my computers, have drives that you can pull out of them in little carriers. So you can turn them off, pull the drive out, put the new drive in. If I was ever to need a secure operating system for something I worried about, I can always pop a Ubuntu Unix distro in my machine and reboot it and be right into a fairly secure version of Ubuntu, 16.10 now. So that's it. I was just outside of Wichita. I don't know what you guys are. I wonder why you would ask me about Wichita. Maybe you can answer. What else do we have going on out here? I'll look it up. Somehow I'm distantly related to the Coleman people from Wichita, Kansas. I wonder if that's what he's asking. Anyway, Ross stores. Take a look at this one here. As soon as my internet comes through. Come on. Is it Ross? Oh, RS. I guess I have to actually type in the ROST, the correct one. Maybe that'll make a lot of difference. CIA director, the designee from Wichita. Oh, Cock. He's a good Midwest boy. Nothing wrong with that. But more people are related to the Colemans than I think are anywhere close to the Cocks. So, how about that? Now you got me, my mind going nuts trying to remember what little town I went to. It's just on the east side of Wichita. I'll think of it. I remember seeing Smokey and the Bandit in the theater there. It's like an earworm. It's a mind worm. Anyway, Ross Stores had earnings today. We'll get back to the market, already in progress. Nice pop today on 20 million shares. This does look like it's almost completing an ABC on the way up. I didn't think that there was much in the way of these stores left, and this probably is it up here. I thought maybe we would see some stuff. Now, GPS, probably much more fitting for the community out here as far as retail sales in clothing goes. The gap is down fairly significantly, strongly today on already 47 million shares out here. This thing did kind of try to spike higher in the morning, didn't get very far, and has rolled back underneath. Sales just not that good. I couldn't understand the $30.74 print out here other than somebody was just rolling the shorts that blinked. But, this thing had a nice $4 range out here today. I just don't see it. The malls are dead. Nothing really makes that much sense to me in this sector. What else did we have going on out here? GPS. We had Salesforce. We've talked about Salesforce's issues with the vice president. We've been talking about that for 2 months or 3 months. Didn't think it was very smart for the bloviating and kind of big mouth CEO threatening the life of the then governor of Indiana over some political things he didn't quite agree on. Don't think it was close to the death camps of Nazi Germany, although the CRM guy did think so. Kind of one of these people that went off the deep end. Last night he was vociferously apologizing and trying to back up for all the horrible and hateful things he said to our coming vice president. A lot of people kind of said, you know what, everybody just has to move on. Kind of interesting to the pre-election discussion opposed to the post-election discussion. I saw many articles about what I'd been talking about for months, and that is that they do 75% of their business in the United States. And of that $60 billion, they better get on the stick on patching up relations out here. Now, they had a fairly good sign of a high. That was the November 20th high. Had 32 million shares at 82.90. It spiked it with 10 million less on May 27th with 23 million shares. We're now kind of coming back up here, but I don't think we're going to have anything like we need. Now, maybe does this thing kind of float back up here into the 85s or 87s at the end of the year? If it did, I would probably think about pulling a short on that up there maybe in the last couple of days of the year as we look for maybe a possible downside. I don't think that there's a lot more on this one than this going sideways. The PE, as I figured out on the back of an envelope this morning, is still like 72. This is one of the most expensive stocks in the stock market. So any little problem that this stock has could see it have in a matter of days, and don't be surprised if they do run into some big deal. Amazon, Microsoft, IBM, Google, all targets for CRM. CRM had been running around for the last day or two, trying to get its allies up in those businesses and making and playing nice with everybody. I don't know how good that's going to be if it's too little, too late. We'll be back after this.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And what do we have? Oh, Newton City, Paul. Newton, Kansas. That's where I spent several summers out there with my grandmother's sister, at least a month or so. I think when I was 13 or 14. 13, it had to be 13. I was 12 or 13. Very nice lady, very nice. Talk about Mayberry town, exactly like that, a little on the east side of Wichita. And just a very nice people, nice place. I remember everybody, wasn't much to do there. Everybody went to the Piggly Wiggly and sat in their cars on Friday nights. And I remember going there once and seeing the Bandit movie, whatever that one was, with an intermission. I had never seen a movie with an intermission before, so they could change it because they only had one projector. I always thought that was interesting. Newton, Kansas. Anyway, we got about 3 minutes to go here. I'm kind of vamping as I go back out here and look and see if there's anything else going on in this market that we need to talk about before the end. You know, we're off 4 or 5 points. Monday and Tuesday are options rollovers. I don't see a great deal going on in that. And I don't know what else. Probably the most interesting thing of the last couple of days to me is the stock that got hit the absolute worst as a byproduct is kind of starting to come back at least a little bit here, and that's Wynn Resorts. Wynn is up rather strongly from a low today. That low came in at 82.76. We hit a high of 94 and change. But talk about some range out here. This one certainly had it today. It's had fairly decent range. I still don't understand the thought that they're going to be able to extract huge amounts of money from China, but I've been wrong before. I'll keep an eye on it. But this doesn't really change anything. It hasn't really broken the downtrend on Wynn since it kind of blew off its top on 109.50 on September 16th. My thought is this is at least in this kind of congestion area at about 85. You got 3 kind of minor gaps below. I would think that you'd want at least to see this thing come to $77.25 and have all the volume fall out before you would look at this one long again. But on a day where there isn't a great deal going on, could be different. A lot of people trying to jump on IWM probably a little bit before it's ready. 130.83, which is about the high of the day and the high of this. Still everybody piling on to this. To me, this is a big warning sign as we go into the weekend of an impending top in the market, and that is the ability to have everybody jump into these small, tiny stocks and have them really move. You know, we've seen that again today in stocks like some of the bulk shippers. These things are just bouncing around. You see a lot of people that are gambling and not speculating intelligently. It's always time to figure out what's going on. That they're all jumping into the IWM here makes me think this is probably a fairly crowded trade. It may not resolve itself before the end of the year, but my guess is that the first to be sold will be these if we do pull back. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you Monday. Same bat channel, same bat time. Have a great weekend. I will be down in NASCAR town, back in one of the tracks I used to race at, Homestead, this weekend. See you there. Or be square.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.